Hello everyone, this is China Paradigm, where we, Dashi Consulting, interview seasoned entrepreneurs in China.
Hello everyone, I'm Matthieu David, the founder of Dashi Consulting and its podcast, China Paradigm. And today I am with Julien Delerue. In English should be Julien Delerue, I guess. You are the founder and CEO of 1000 Meetings. In Chinese is Bai Hui Tong. And you founded a business long time ago, 13 years ago, 2006, according to your LinkedIn information. You are providing rooms, meetings, space for events in China, as far as I understand, but you are going to tell us more. You are based in Shanghai. Your offer is to connect this inventory of space in hotel or other areas with organization companies which need this space to hold events. That's what we call the MICE environment, MICE for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, if I'm correct. You have been in China for a long time. I like to know also why you came to China and what happened that you decided to start in China. But first of all, thank you very much for being with us. And could you tell us a bit about your company currently, what you have achieved in 13 years, the size of your current business?
Okay. Well, good morning, Matthieu. Thanks for inviting me to your podcast. And that's great to see it growing. So yeah, a little bit about myself. So I'm Julien. I arrived in China actually in 2005. So that was roughly 14 years ago. So this China experience actually was very fortunate because I was not really meant to come to China at the beginning. When I was at the university, I had the opportunity. It was very fortunate to learn Chinese. So I picked Chinese as my second language. And at that time, actually, I have to say it was really difficult because without any environment, you don't get to speak that much and you don't get to see the value of it. But later on, in 2004, I came on vacation in China. And I always like to say I fell in love. I didn't fall in love with someone, but I fell in love with the country. And that's where I decided to actually move to China. And what I really liked about China at that time was people, and this is still the case. I felt, because I'm an entrepreneur myself, I felt like people were really dynamic and really willing to start things, to start businesses. And this is really this environment that I really connected with and that I really love. So that's how I decided with my wife to come to Shanghai, and our plan was really simple. It was to be there for only 6 months, and after 14 years, we're still there. So about the company and the business, so how it started. As you said, the problem we solve is really simple. We are a bridge, and we connect the supply and the demand. So in a very specific environment. We work on what you call the MICE industry. So this is the meetings and the corporate event industry. So the problem we solve is actually a double problem. We solve the problem on the customer side. So if you're a meeting organizer, you can think about it. It's very complicated to find a meeting space. The process, if you have a meeting to organize, is very tedious. It can take quite a few days of work of someone's time. Let's say that you're looking for an hotel in Suzhou, for example. Where do you go? You can go on Ctrip to find the hotels, and then you call them one by one. You submit your event requirements to 10 different hotels, and then you need to collect the pricing from 10 different hotels, and then you need to gather this in a unique proposal to submit to your boss or to your organization to make a decision. And this is exactly this lengthy process that we aim to shorten from 3 days of work to a few days of work to a very short, maybe a few hours of time. So we really shrink this very lengthy process. And basically, the customer just need to come to us. And then within a few hours of time, we will send back 3 different hotels proposals under a very structured format. So that's the problem we solve on the customer side, on the meeting organizer side. But we also solve another problem for hotels. It's actually very difficult to find customers. if you take an organization, a large organization, and you are an hotel, you want to approach this organization, the big question is how to find the key meeting planner, the key decision maker in this organization, and when to contact this person, because this person might not have a meeting when you call this person. So this is really the problem we solve, and we are somehow a marketplace. We are a bridge between both worlds, so the supply and the demand. And if we talk a little bit about the business model, we charge the supply because we are on a buyer's market. So we charge the suppliers to be connected and to be finding more easily customers. And so our role, our mission is to the hotels to bring incremental business, additional business. And our role as well for the meeting planners is to really save them a lot of time and to get visibility over their consumption when it comes to meetings and events with hotels.
I see. A lot of questions about the model and how you operate, because the idea, I think everyone can get it, but how to operate and start, it seems a bit more difficult. You may talk to hotels, but how can they put you in priority so that within 3 days, when you offer a suggestion to your clients, you are sure that they are going to book your offer and not another offer, and to make sure that they commit on putting you in priority. I guess you have to be a priority to them, and they could not change afterwards to another organization. How did you organize? Is it through technology? Is it through a SaaS system? I saw in your profile that you have a service as a software, so a SaaS system. Could you tell us more about the challenges of working with hotels?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good question, and this is the problem to be visible enough to the hotels, to get fast enough or a good price from the hotels. And so just a little bit more about myself. So my background is IT. So I come from the IT world, and when I was looking for an area to start this business, I found out that meetings and events was very manual, in a way that everybody was doing the work by calling, by emails. And I felt like with my technology background, we could help a lot this whole industry to be more automated. So that's how, back 10 years ago, when I started this business, we were actually doing like the customers. So we were picking the customer's brief, and then we were sending the brief to the hotels, even faxing the requirements to get the reply from the hotel. So it was very manual and very old-fashioned. And at some point, I decided to actually build a software solution to help our sales associates whenever there is an inquiry coming from a customer, to send out this inquiry in a digital way to the hotels, and then to get the hotels online directly to respond and to bid for the business. And so it started like this, and with the years,
to bid. So basically,
exactly.
Who is bidding exactly? I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah, so the customer has a meeting request, a meeting inquiry. They want to organize a meeting in a city. So then our system will send the meeting inquiry to the hotels with the customer requirements. And then the hotels will be receiving that by email. And then they will be able online directly by clicking on a link to be redirected on a page where they can actually put their quotation. So for this specific event. And then from there, they will be literally bidding in a way that when they submit their quotation, they will be able to see what is the pricing from the other hotels that have been quoting a rate before them, without naming names, of course, because we need to be compliant, but they will be seeing their ranking. And this is where we have been driving the hotel interest to tell them, okay, first, you need to respond fast. If you want to get the business, if you respond within 3 days of time, you are less likely to get the business, because other hotels maybe will be within 15 minutes responding to this case and getting the business done. And the second KPI is also the efficiency. Let's say that if you quote a rate that is 10% higher than your competitors, then of course you won't be able to get the business done at the end of the day. So we have really a role as well. So we have this system that is helping us to measure, to track, and to also automate, to empower our sales associates to do their work faster. but it's also a very good tool for us to educate the hotels, to tell them what are the best practices. And let's say if we talk to an hotel chain nowadays, we're able to tell them within your 100 hotels in China or even outside of China, what is your response time, how you can improve this. And we have a role to actually help the hotels and the hotel chains to get more business done. And so our role is not only to send leads out to the hotels, to send business to the hotels, but it's also to help them to close more business. And this is really the name of the game for the hotels when they pay us, when they work with us. They want to get the most of it and to get a lot of insights. And this is what we have through a very detailed reporting to tell the hotels how to proceed, how to be more visible, how to get more business.
I see. So currently, how many hotels do you have? How many places do you have on the platform?
So we started this business in China 10 years ago, and I can tell you 10 years ago, it's a chicken and egg problem, because when you go and see hotels at the very beginning, they say, okay, that's great, Julien, I love your idea, but we need customers. And when we were seeing the customers, they were saying, yeah, we need hotels. So we really had hard times. It was like from 2008 until 2010 to get them a volume that was fair enough, or that was enough for the hotels to be interested enough in our concept. So we had really 3 years that were kind of complicated at the beginning to reach that critical mass. And then nowadays when we started, we were working most likely with hotels, individual hotels, and we've been transitioning a lot towards hotel chains. Because this model really makes sense of course, at an individual property side. But when we talk about hotel chains, we have a lot of visibility for the hotel chain to see how their hotels respond and so on. So currently, as of today, we have 10 hotel chains working with us. This is, I would say, 80% of those are international branded hotel chains, so all the famous hotel chains. And then, so it represents more or less 1,000 hotels, 1,000 meetings, 1,000 hotels.
Wow.
And now we are, so this is for China. So our database, we are talking about 16,000 hotels. And then on the premium hotels that we are working with on a membership level, it's 1,000 hotels. And then we also are currently developing the overseas market. So to either bring China meetings and events groups going outside of China, or even to get more local, if we talk about Malaysia, to get Malaysia demand to Malaysia hotels. So we are expanding outside of China as of last year. And we are getting a lot of growth on this part at this stage.
I think I missed a part of the business model. You talked about membership premium.
Yeah.
Does it mean that the hotel pay for specific services? I understood that it was more like a profit sharing model. So maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I can give you a little bit more of an explanation on this part. So as I said, this market is most a supplier market. So we have a very high number of hotels on the market, and the number of hotels is growing a lot. So the balance is more on the customer side. So the customers are really chased. So our service is free of charge for customers. So whenever a customer comes to us, we help the customers for free to solve their issues. So to find the right meeting space, to get the quotation from the hotels. And on the other side, so this is the part we charge is actually hotel chains, to give them more visibility towards our customers and to give them more business opportunities. So we gather all the customers' demand, and then we have this volume of business that then we redistribute to the hotels. And so the way we work is we have a retainer, so a retainer fee. So let's say we work with an hotel chain, we have a yearly fee that we charge the hotel chain, or that we charge to the individual property. And then we are sending business to the hotel chain or to the property. And the way our work is evaluated, it's based on the volume of leads that we've been sending to the hotels, and most importantly, on the volume of actual business confirmed to the hotels. So this is really a volume game.
You,
so we really need to drive as much volume as we can from the customers. And our challenge is not to attract hotels, actually. It's really to attract quality demand from customers. And when we get that, all the rest is flowing in pretty naturally, I would say.
I see. You are not sharing the profit then. You're not taking like 20, 30%. My first business was a gift box business, and there was clearly a profit sharing model like Smart Box. You take 30% of the service that is in the box. Do you?
No, we don't actually. So we do and we don't. So we have this retainer fee, this membership fee, we call it. And this membership fee, this is something paid upfront to work with us. And then we have different agreements with different hotel chains or different hotels. But to give you an idea, we charge commission fees or transaction fees, we like to call those, on the actual volume of business confirmed. So it's anywhere between 5 and 10%. So this on this side, it could be it could be considered as a profit sharing model, but it's not like up to 30%. The customer comes to us, and the price is the same or lower than what they could get if they would go direct to the hotel. So on one hand, we solve the time problem, and on the other hand, we solve the cost saving problem. And this cost saving problem is actually solved by our capacity with our SAS solution, with our software. To proceed to online bidding. So when the hotels quote, they know that they need to be very attractive for the customer, so that they are able to get and to win the business. And that's the whole concept about this. So if we were to charge, more than 10% of transaction fee, then definitely the end user would pay the bill for us, which wouldn't be fair at the end of the day.
I see. I understand. I feel that your pitch could be to hotels: don't hire any salespeople. We're going to do salespeople for your events room, for your space, and just pay a monthly premium, a monthly membership, and pay us a little bit of commission because the transaction goes through us, or because we are going to ease the process and so on. Is it your pitch?
No, not at all, because we don't want the hotels to see us as competitors. And I think the real value we bring on the table for the hotels is definitely to present some business that they would never touch, they would never be able to reach. Okay. And of course, the hotels will always need to have salespeople, but what we bring to the hotel, the value added, is really incremental business, as we say. So this is additional business. And I think the value we have, and if we talk about the hotel chains, we are not helping the hotel chains to connect with customers they already know. We are helping them to find out customers that are off the radar for them and that are really difficult to approach for them. So I think we are more an extension of the sales team of the hotels, and it would be more a sales pitch to say, you have your business and we are bringing you more than what you have. Because, in that kind of industry, if you don't sell your meeting room, or if you don't sell your buffet lunch, then it will be lost. And this is a yield management part, and this is incremental things that we deliver. So we definitely work hand in hand with the customers, and we help with the hotels, and we help them to get connected with more customers and to build their customer base.
I see, because they have a fixed cost. The objective is the fixed cost is quite high, but the variable cost is not that high, basically, because the people are here, the space is here, the buffet is here. So they need to fill the room. They need to have the room fill all the here. And you provide this incremental demand, which helps them to make sure they have at the maximum, lowest vacancy and maximum occupation.
Absolutely. This is the whole concept behind 1000 meetings, yes.
I see. I understand. We looked a bit online on your presence to get a sense on how you acquire clients. I don't think you acquire that many clients online. I mean, when I say clients, I say organization booking the hotel, because you're really, I mean, in some way your clients are more hotels. So the users of your service. How do you acquire clients? Is it a long process, one-to-one? Is it a word of mouth? You already know who you need to contact, so you don't need to do online marketing. How do you do?
Yeah, that's a good question as well. And I can share with you one thing. When I started this business 11 years ago, we were relying a lot on the online side, meaning that we were buying keywords on Baidu to attract the keywords. Was like Shanghai meeting space, Suzhou meeting space, or Shanghai hotel. And then we were driving some traffic on the website to get meeting requests from the customer, leads from the customers, and very fast. At the beginning, it was very cheap. It was a few MAU per click, so it was good actually. But the thing was, after a few years, a few months, the prices really went up big time. And it was very difficult for us to keep up with this. And at some point, we decided to say, okay, let's go out and let's try to find, just like the hotels might be doing it, let's try to find customers. And I can tell you, this is really the day when we started to do that. Pretty much overnight, this is where the company started to be profitable. And so we compared the price when we put 1 RMB on one salesperson going out, and 1 RMB on Baidu or whatever it could be in terms of online advertising. We definitely felt that the 1 RMB on sales person was definitely driving much more ROI for us, and so we terminated somehow the cooperation and the advertising online. We decided not to pursue that, and it was this is where we really started to pick up and to grow with the business. So to answer your question, 100%, this is going really offline. We make appointments with customers. We explain them the concept that at a fingertip they have 16,000 hotels that they can inquire from, and they get really speedy responses from them, and there is no overcharge for them. So this is very attractive for them, because I have to say that a customer who is organizing a meeting, usually this is not their primary job, and they have a lot of things to do besides that. So we solve already a very big problem for them by bringing hotels and by helping them to find the quotation from the hotels. So I think that's working pretty well for us, this offline thing. And we also have what we call this is a MICE showcase. So this is a roadshow that we are doing twice a year in Shanghai. So this is a place where we invite hotels. We have usually 70 hotels, and we invite 150 customers to meet offline together on over a 1-day meeting in a nice hotel. And so we do that twice a year. And so this is really to stress out the importance of the offline for us, and on the offline as well for the meetings and events industry, because usually our customers, when they have a meeting, the average expense would be something like 200,000 RMB up to 1 million RMB. And you cannot decide online purely. So the way we see technology is to help us to do reporting, to help us or to help our customers to find more quickly the hotels, to find more quickly and to find better rates. But it will never replace the connection, the human connection. When it comes to buying a 1 million RMB event, you definitely need to know and to see the salespeople of the hotel. So that's why, back to the value proposition we have for the hotels, we don't intend to replace them. We really need to work hands in hands with them to get the business closed and to get the customer happy at the end of the day. So the offline part is important for us in a way that we have a newsletter, we have a WeChat account. Is more to spread out the word about the new hotels opening, about the new promotion from the hotels. But it's not that much an acquisition channel for us. It would be much more a retention channel for our existing customers, and to keep connected with those customers the full year, and to ensure that we get their meeting inquiries the full year, and that they don't go direct, or they stick to us. That's the idea behind this.
I see. Are you afraid when you do this MICE showcase that actually your end clients are contacting the hotel directly?
And it's okay. It's also a source of profit for us in the first place, because we charge the hotels who want to join this MICE showcase. But it's also a way. Sometimes the customers, they don't want to go direct. They don't want to go through us. They still prefer to go direct. And rather than wasting this opportunity, we still can work with those by inviting them to our showcases and by having them to experience the hotels, to meet with them face to face. And I think again, the problem we solve for those customers, they are really busy. They don't have time to seek for hotels and to pressure the hotels to get a quick quotation, a prompt quotation from them. So I think we are still solving a very big problem that is big enough for them to be staying with us, rather than going direct and still inquiring one by one all the hotels. So I think this is again based on our solution, our technological solution. We provide them quite a lot of comfort when it comes to saving time and getting the reporting done. And I didn't touch too much on this topic, but on the customer side, we have an automated reporting that we can deliver to them so that they can see what is their consumption, who is organizing meetings within the company, how much they spend, how much savings they will generate. So we have a whole set of KPIs that we can give back to the company. So that's also why the customers usually don't leave us that much to go direct, because one, they get their time problem solved, and the second, they get this reporting done, and they can justify for it. So that's the key points where we try to be as useful as possible for the customers, so that they never think about leaving us.
Yeah, actually, they would go through you in order at least to put the hotels they met during the event in competition, to make sure they really have the best offer. They really have thought about also different places who can inspire definitely their team when they meet, or the clients when they meet for the event. So it makes sense to still go through you when they have to start the conference or to organize it. What about the process? What are the parameters you take into account? Let's imagine I know that I want to organize an event within 50 kilometers out of Shanghai or 100 kilometers out of Shanghai, but I'm pretty open to be in the countryside, to be in a city. What parameters do you take into account for me to discover new places and new opportunities?
Yeah, it really depends on the customer brief. It can be a brief that is cost savings driven, or a brief that is I want something luxury, or I want something, as you said, by countryside. I want a retreat for my customers or for my associates, and it really depends on the brief. And it's really interesting, because sometimes an hotel that has a 2,000 square meter ballroom might not compete with this direct competitor next door, but might compete with another hotel 100 kilometers away that also has this 2,000 square meters ballroom. So it really depends on the customer requirements. Of course, we can categorize this under some criteria, like the ballroom size, the number of guest rooms as well. It's sometimes very difficult. You wouldn't imagine if you have like 500 twin rooms. It's very difficult to find a hotel with 500 twin rooms in China. So this is the kind of parameters we would take into account. But most importantly, because the kind of groups we deal with, it's anywhere between 20 people to 200 people. This is more about the experience that the group will receive. And so this is why we cannot replace our sales associates by some servers or by some software. Because we really need to have the intelligence of those people, their knowledge about the market, to figure out what are the good hotels for the customer, and then the whole process behind that is automated. So I can tell you a little bit more about the process. So we get the customer brief. So we have sales associates taking care of that. And then we have this system that this is our own system. Then we enter the customer brief inside the system, and then we have a search engine, a very advanced search engine that helps us to find the most appropriate hotel. And then to send this, so we send this, we select the hotels we want, within the RFP to the hotels, and then they receive an email. All the hotels receive an email with a format sharing the customer requirements, and then they have two buttons in the email. They can either accept the lead or refuse it. So they can refuse it in a situation where they don't have any space to sell on that precise date, or they can also refuse the business if they already know the customer, if it is not an incremental business. If the customer already solicited them, they can say, no, we already are fine with this customer, we don't need your help. And then if they choose to bid with us, then they accept. It means they accept the inquiry from us, and this is where, when the customer will award them, we will be able to track this as our production for the hotel. So it's very clear as a process, and this is all automated. And then the hotel, when they accept the case, it will be directly online. So they will have a form, and this is where we help the customer a lot, because they go through this form. The hotel will go through this form to quote the rate. And then this is according to our own format. It's not according to the hotel format. So that when our software will gather all the quotation from the hotels, we will be able to deliver that under a unique format, a very consistent format to the end user, to the customer, to the meeting organizer. And then the meeting organizer very simply receive this online. So it's a chart with 1, 2, 3 proposals, 1, 2, 3 options, and they only need to make a decision to say, I want option A, option B, option C. And sometimes the customer will ask us to renegotiate the rate with the hotel. Sometimes they go direct. Okay. That's fine. And then this is where we are able to capture the rates of the hotels, and we are able to send that back to the end user.
Payment goes through your company, and then you send back the money to the hotel, or you go directly to the hotel?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
The payment. Does it go through your company, and then?
Yeah, the payment will not go through our company, and we don't intend to take care of this part. This is not a problem we want to solve. So the payment will go either direct from the company to the hotel, or to the agency of the company, to the third-party agency of the company to the hotel. So yeah, on the financial part, this is not something we want to touch. Our real value, our core value is on the sales part, on the sales and marketing part for the hotels, to help them to drive visibility, and on the consulting part for the meeting planner, to help them to find the best options and to get the reporting done. Yeah.
Okay, I see. You talked many times about, you mentioned many times about cost saving. Is it the main reason why your client goes through your platform, or is it also to discover new places, to be inspired?
I feel that the customers in the first place come to us because they have this cost saving problem. But at the end of the day, I have to say that the most important part would be on the time saving, and on the fact that we help you to do the whole process. And I think this is a very good entry point, contact point for us, the cost savings towards the customers. But definitely at the end of the day, the time saving is the most important, most critical thing. And especially when you see the labor costs are getting higher and higher, the companies have less liberty to hire people. So we are somehow an outsourced part of your company to find the hotels, and to get the reporting done. And so we are somehow an outsourced part of your procurement department, if we are on the customer standpoint, and we are an outsourced part of the hotels, of the sales team of the hotels, if we are on the hotel standpoint.
Okay, I feel that you have a very strategic mind. I feel you talk about it's a buyer market, supplier market, it's we are positioning and so on. I'm sure you have ideas of where your company is going to go for the future development. You talked about being more international. What do you see the future of your business? We see players like Airbnb, we see players like marketplaces, which could be some way one day closer to your business. I don't know if I'm correct or not. What do you see the future?
Yeah, I think that the first 10 years of our existence were pretty much on the domestic market, and on us getting the momentum and getting the visibility from the hotels. And I think we've done quite a nice achievement on this part, because we've been able to be quite prominent on this very niche market, but still very big market in China, within the China borders. And I think over the last I would say 4 years, our way to acquire more and more business volume. Because we can always hire more salespeople to get more business volume, but we also wanted to get another channel to acquire more business volume from the customers, from the meeting organizers. And we started to sell as a white label our software solution to let agencies or big players to use our technology and to bring their volume to our platform. So nowadays, it's not only us with our salespeople inquiring hotels on our platform. This is also our partners. Most of them are agencies, but now we are interested into getting into large corporations who want a streamlined process when it comes to sourcing, rather than sharing an Excel file with all their preferred hotels. We bring to them our technology to help them to source the hotels in a way more efficient way. That's what they have nowadays. So this is where I see the evolution of the market and the future for us. So one is technology. So to sell our technology as a white label solution to penetrate into new markets, whether in China, but also outside of China, because this need in APAC is actually not addressed at all at this moment. So everybody is still very manual. So I feel that we have a very big opportunity on this side. And the second part is definitely overseas. So to get agencies, let's say in Thailand, or corporate customers in Thailand or in Korea using our technology and inquiring hotels either in China or in Thailand, in Korea, or even in Paris. And I think with this technology, we are really ready to scale and to ramp up because it's just a matter of acquiring new volumes of business and acquiring new meeting organizers. So I think we have been transitioning from the very beginning, where we are a very manual company, to manually acquiring customers, acquiring their volume, and growing bigger and bigger, and then starting to sell out this technology that we have. From now to sell this outside of China, to grow the presence in APAC, of course, but I would love to see opportunities in Europe, because I definitely feel that European market is just like here. In Asia, it's very manual and it's not well addressed in terms of technology. So I think it would be really the two angles.
When you say selling technology, does it mean that you imagine someone in Indonesia, in the Philippines, to fill in their own partnership with hotel and so on, or you would provide the hotel inside the technology for the event planners?
No, we provide the hotels, and this is our responsibility, to provide the hotels, to provide the right contact, to provide the platform for those meeting planners, so that whenever they got an inquiry, they just go online, they can search the hotels in a very convenient way, and then send out their RFP to the hotels, and then to get the hotels to reply online and to get the pricing from there.
So the technology would include the content, the database for you. That's Absolutely, what you would sell. You would not sell only the software.
Absolutely, yeah. This is critical because nobody would use it if the content was not there, and the model would be still the same as it is today. So on one hand, to charge premium fees or listing fees or you name it, whatever, and then to charge also technology fees to the customers using that, so that we can really have a very nice ecosystem to help both sides of the world to meet together.
What do you think about the companies, or is it something you have thought about doing, that are renting out places that are owned by anyone, by individual, by companies, and you can rent out a space because you have a meeting room, because you have maybe a big garage or a big a space of your house you could rent out for a specific event. There are some companies doing that. In front, one of them is Snap Event. I'm sure you looked at their model and what they do. What's your feedback? You could do that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a pretty good model, but that's also a very different model than what we are running, because the average expense for that kind of business would be something like a couple of hundred euros or a couple of thousands RMB. And the customers, it's just a very Airbnb concept. What the customers want is very quickly to find the right place at a reasonable price, and to pay directly online. And this is not what we intend to do. We are working on more complex type of events. Let's say you are a Malaysian company, you want to do an outing in Poland. And what are the cities, what are the hotels, and how to deal with that. And this is more that kind of problem we intend to solve, and we don't want to be involved into a smaller volume, because when we acquire one customer, maybe the volume would be much higher and much more interesting for an hotel. Still, we're still very much focused on the hotel side. But then that kind of business would be more attractive. And just like the weddings, at some point we were approached by the hotel saying, "Are you interested into doing weddings? Because this is the same thing. Weddings, it's just like a meeting. We will use the ballroom during the weekend time." But we felt that it was not the right customer base for us. We didn't have this capacity. We had the contacts on the hotel side, but we didn't have the capacity to deliver and to drive business volume. So I feel that, again, the model you're talking about is really a great model, but we don't feel like we have the capacity to enter into that. And it will be too different to what we are doing today. So we still want to keep focus on this. We see a lot of growth areas in China and outside of China for that. So yeah, definitely we will stick to the current model. Yeah.
Okay. Talking about you, so you came to China because you learn Chinese. That was the primary reason. Then you like the people, you like the dynamism, the business here. There's one question I always have for people who have graduated from prestigious schools. You went to Telecom, the Telecom Paris. Some people may not know what Telecom Paris is. Some people who are listening to us, but Telecom. Some ministers come from Telecom Paris. A minister from the finance of France used to come from Telecom Paris, Breton, I think, and he's managing Atos now. So it's a very prestigious school. You went to HEC, and you decided to go to China to start a business, which is the most adventurous and the most difficult thing to do, the less stable thing to do, especially when you have all those degrees, which can give you an entry to those big firms and have a prestigious career. What happened in your mind, and what do you think you chose this path?
Well, I have to say it was more an opportunity thing. So I happened to be in China, I think, at the right time, because at that time the labor costs were relatively low. And I think if I had to do that again nowadays, it will be pretty much impossible because of the costs, because of the competition that might have been coming before us. So I think we were very very lucky and very fortunate. It was not a real sound decision in a way. I didn't plan this for 4 years. It was really I would say a cost of opportunity. This opportunity, went in front of me, and I said, yeah, this is something great. And I didn't imagine that it would be such a long journey. I didn't imagine that 10 years after I would be still there, and that the company will meet such a success, I would say. So I think, I've been very lucky, and I can say that there is a pretty clear reason for me being here. I just enjoyed, and I think I still enjoy very much my job, and I cannot say that there is 1 year that is similar to the year before. So I think that's what is very interesting for me. And so I got this opportunity, and then everything came up very naturally, I have to say, with the years, and we've been able to grow each year compared to the year before. I don't think I can say that there was a real planning behind this. It was much more an opportunity, and I feel that going overseas nowadays, it's also another opportunity, and it feels like starting this business again, like I started it 10 years ago here in China, and this is very exciting for me being an entrepreneur. So and I think if you ask me, China definitely is a very good place for entrepreneur. It's not easy, but nowhere is really easy to start a business. And the most difficult part is to find a real problem to solve, a real issue to solve, and then when everything is in place, it becomes more easy. So I think the next step for us is definitely going overseas and exploring new markets outside of China. And of course, keeping this China venture that is doing quite well. So to grow our presence in a more broader world. Yes.
You said I had this opportunity, but it gives the feeling that you got someone talking about something, or you found out about this company. How did you come up with this company in this sector? You are coming from an IT background. You went to HEC. Not necessarily hospitality. How did you come up?
Yeah, so and that's a good question. So when I arrived in China, we arrived with my wife. We came backpack, and at that time I was searching for an entrepreneurial opportunity, and I had the chance to meet one of my teachers when I was in HEC. Who presented me this company. There was a company similar to what we are doing in France, but they were more a paper directory. So the way they were operating was to sell some listings to the hotels in a paper directory, like the Yellow Pages, and they were distributing across this Yellow Pages directory to a lot of meeting organizers in France. And I thought that the idea was great. And from there, we decided, let's do that in China, because there was nothing like this in China. And the idea was to be more having a digital approach rather than getting this paper approach. It didn't make a lot of sense. We were in 2008. And so that's how I started. I got some funding from this company at the very beginning, because to start a foreign company, you need to have quite a sum. You need to come up with quite a sum of money to be ready to be losing money for the first years of your business. And that was the opportunity I had, and I thought, okay, how can I use my IT background to bring more to solve a problem around this? And this is where I found we can do something, and let's get started, and let's get out to see the hotels, to see the meeting organizers, to see how they function, and from there, this is how we started. And I think it was very lucky, because it was this happened in 2008. I got the funding wired in late August, and on the early September, it was the crisis that bursted out. And I guess a few weeks later, I would have never had the money wired to the account, and I wouldn't be here to talk to you today. So I think it was fortunate as well under this aspect.
You said you found the idea good, but I can't believe it's just that you found the idea good. I guess you made your math, you made your market research, you did check. What was your process?
Yeah, the process was first, okay, was the idea of a valid idea for the hotels? Would the hotels be ready to pay to be visible on that kind of platform? Would be interested by that type of service? So this is something I just went to 10 hotels, just made appointments with the GMs, and to see, okay, are you interested into getting more MICE business? Are you interested? And everybody say, yeah, of course. And please come back when the company is set up. And then on the customers, it was a little bit harder to meet with them, because, and I think this is the beauty of our model, it's very difficult to know in one organization who would be the right contact to organize a meeting. So we had more, we had more at times to find the right customers. But we did it, and we said, okay, this is a bet. Of course, we did the math, but as you know, you can do all the business plans of the world you want. You need to come up with a real product to be able to really see if it is a valid idea, and if you can charge a customer for that. And I think it was really the difficult part of our starting, as I said, the chicken and egg problem. Because we didn't have anybody, any hotel. We didn't have any customer when we first started, and we had to get the trust from our first customers. So I think we were pretty lucky to find our first customers in the first months. But it was then a very tough journey to drive further business volume, and to tweak our business model as well, because the idea we had at the beginning was just a website, and you are a hotel, you put your listing on the website, and that's it, finish. And we figured out very, very quickly that it was not enough for the hotels. They were not interested enough just to put some marketing funds and to wait for the customer to come. They really wanted us to help them to push and to find new customers. So that's how we came with the idea of setting a sales team and be less passive towards the customer, and to be very aggressive towards the customers, to acquire them and to find them, and to find what was the value we could deliver to them. So that's why the journey was long, because we didn't have any connection. We didn't know much about China at the beginning, about the China market. So it took us some time to be visible from the right actors, from the right players on the market. And so that's why again, it was an opportunity by the funding we had at the beginning, by the idea that was brought up to us by an existing player in France. But then it was very complicated to get the whole concept started and to be afloat at the same time in terms of revenue and to keep the company alive. And I think for any entrepreneur and to a younger myself, if I had to give myself an advice before starting, I think is to be sure that you find the right problem to solve, and a problem that is big enough so that the customers will be ready to pay for it. And so that was the difficult part of it.
How much did you need to start? Could you share about the funding side?
And actually the funding was not decided by us, so we had to present, like any foreign company, a business plan to the Ministry of Commerce, and it was 2 million RMB to get this business started. And the interesting thing was that actually we needed this 2 million RMB to cover our losses, and the calculation made was very accurate. If we had only 1 million RMB, I wouldn't have been able to make it until we were able to sustain on our own to get enough revenue, enough profit to sustain as a company. So I think the calculation was very accurate. It ended up to be very accurate at the end of the day. Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting that the administration can calculate accurately how much it would cost, because you have to validate with the administration. I wouldn't expect that. Thank you very much, Julien. It's nearly 1 hour. I heard that you have the cleaning lady in your office.
Yeah, just so that.
But that's fine. It didn't disturb.
Office.
That's a real office. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you enjoyed it. It will be online in a week, I believe. And thanks for being with us that early, because we started at 8 a.m.
No, thank you, Matthieu. That's the best hour to talk. This is where no emails, no nothing coming up. That's very smart of you. And thanks as well for this opportunity. And it was good to reconnect with you after all those years.
Yeah.
And exactly. I wish you success in your future endeavors.